The message came at 2:17 a.m. sharp, blunt, stripped of warmth or explanation. You won't be joining us for the trip. My mother prefers to keep it only her family. That was it. No greeting, no apology, just a sentence, cold and calculated, like a blade slipped between ribs. I stared at the screen, half expecting more. Something, a reason, a lie dressed as kindness. But the screen stayed blank. The silence that followed wasn't empty. It was deafening. Everything had already been arranged under my name. First-class seats, private transport, the hotel suite overlooking the coast. Paid in full. I could still hear her voice from last week, gentle, grateful. Thank you for making this happen, baby. Mom will finally see how thoughtful you are, right? Thoughtful. She sold that word like it meant something. I turned off the phone and let the dark surround me. My heartbeat slowed, unnaturally steady. She thought I'd break. That I'd call. Confused, wounded. That I'd ask what I'd done, offer to rearrange things, accommodate her mother's whims. She didn't know I'd already seen the cracks forming long before that, too. Betrayal. I'd just been quiet about it, watching. Listening. It started with the subtle shifts, the gym bag she forgot in the car, the sudden weekend meetings, the phone she now locked even in her own home. I don't jump to conclusions. I don't accuse without reason. But I do pay attention. And silence. Silence gives you time to really hear what's happening. She laughed harder at messages she never showed me. Started falling asleep, turned away, curled toward her phone instead of me, touching it more than she touched my hand. Then there was the phone call past midnight, low-voiced, intimate. She thought I was asleep. Yes, he's clueless, she said, laughing softly. Her tone wasn't casual. It wasn't professional. It was familiar, far too familiar. I didn't confront her. I'm not the kind of man who argues with shadows. Instead, I went to the source. Logged into the account. Exported text metadata, just numbers, dates, times. Ran it through a parser I'd built years ago, back when I was bored and too interested in data patterns. One number lit up like a beacon, over 120 messages in just 2 days. I didn't recognize the number, but the area code was familiar. I didn't need a name, not yet. That message about the trip, that was just the spark. The fire had already been smoldering. The next morning, I contacted the travel agency. Had the tickets placed on hold, not canceled, just quietly locked. I called the hotel, changed the reservation to my name only. Let her discover the truth at check-in with her mother beside her. Let her explain, but that was surface level. The real moves were quieter, sharper. I hired a private investigator, not some nosy amateur. Someone who didn't care for gossip, only facts. 4 days later, I had a file on my desk. Photos, receipts, time-stamped images her at the airport. Smiling beside a man with a face I recognized far too well. He'd been at our wedding, her cousin's friend. Drank my whiskey, laughed at my stories, lingered too long on how beautiful she looked in white. That connection hadn't ended with the reception. Apparently, it deepened. The report was clinical. Dates, hotels, overlapping timelines, and undeniable truths. Still, I didn't say a word. At night, she curled beside me, murmured love you like she meant it. And I almost said it back. Almost. Instead, I printed the file. Neatly bound. I left it on the kitchen counter right next to her protein shake. No note, no explanation, just truth. I left early for work that day. By noon, my phone showed 11 missed calls. At 2:04 p.m., a single message appeared. I can explain. I replied with one word, don't. When I came home, she was at the dining table, eyes rimmed red, hands trembling around a glass of water. Her lips parted, desperate to shape words that might soften the blow. I gave her nothing. Walked to the wine cabinet, poured myself a drink, and sat across from her. Calm as the storm that always follows disaster, she tried. That didn't mean. I lifted a hand to stop her, then pushed my phone across the table. A video played clear, damning, her voice, his face. A hotel bed. She looked away. I didn't. I cleared my throat, voice low and steady. The trip's still happening. Her head jerked up. Hope sparked in her eyes, but not for you. I leaned forward. Your name's been removed. Your tickets, frozen, hotel rooms, canceled. A pause. Your mother can explain why. She opened her mouth again, then shut it. I watched as the weight of it all landed. Not just the exposure, but the realization every piece of her deception laid bare. Every lie, every plan, unraveled without a single raised voice. You paid for it, she whispered. I nodded once. I also paid for the investigator and the lawyer. I pulled out a second folder, slid it across the table. Legal documents. Preliminary. Filings. Asset freeze notifications. All in order. All signed out. Her voice cracked. You said you loved me. I stood, looked down at her, and for a moment, I almost pitied the woman sitting there in the ruins she'd built. I did, I said quietly. That's why this hurts you more than it hurts me. And I walked away from the table, away from the false life we'd built together, away from the love I once gave so freely, now replaced by something colder, quieter, more exacting. I spent the vacation alone. Different destination, no family, no explanations. Just the sea, a sunrise, and my own breathing. Peace. She texted once. You were never this cold. She was wrong. I've always been this cold. She just mistook my silence for softness. Love teaches men to warm their hearts, but betrayal teaches them how to sharpen the blade. I didn't lose her. I released her so she could finally feel the fall.